The observation deck of the Meridian Explorer hummed with the constant thrum of failing life support systems. David Chen pressed his gloved hand against the frost-covered viewport, watching the binary stars of the Kepler-47 system cast their twin shadows across the derelict Zythian colony ship. 3 months ago, this vessel had sent out a distress signal that cut through subspace like a scream. Now, as the only human rescue pilot within 50 light-years, David was contractually obligated to investigate. The airlock cycled with a mechanical wheeze that suggested decades of neglect. David's environmental suit registered external atmosphere, oxygen-nitrogen mix, but laced with trace amounts of ammonia and sulfur compounds, breathable for humans barely, but clearly designed for Zythian physiology. The temperature hovered at -15 Celsius. "This is Rescue 79er to Meridian Base," David spoke into his comm unit. "Entering the derelict, structural integrity appears compromised, proceeding with caution." Static crackled back. At this distance from the nearest relay, he was effectively alone. The corridor stretched before him, walls covered in the bioluminescent panels the Zythians favored, now flickering and dying like fireflies at summer's end. Emergency lighting cast everything in a sickly amber hue. David's boots clanged against metal grating as he moved deeper into the ship, his scanner sweeping for life signs. Nothing, the ship was a tomb. Then a blip, faint, erratic, but definitely organic. 2 signatures actually, one strong, one barely registering. David followed the scanner's guidance through twisting passages that seemed designed to confuse human spatial reasoning. The Zythians built their ships based on fractal geometry principles, creating spaces that were simultaneously efficient and deeply unsettling to species who evolved with Euclidean expectations. The life signs led him to what appeared to be a medical bay. The door had been forced open from the inside, metal bent outward with desperate strength. David raised his plasma cutter defensively as he entered. The room was a disaster. Medical equipment lay scattered across the floor, some still sparking with electrical discharge. And there in the center was a Zythian female, easily 3 meters tall even in her collapsed state, her 6 limbs splayed at unnatural angles. Her chitinous exoskeleton, normally a shimmering blue-green, had turned a dull gray. Fluid leaked from cracks in her carapace. "Mother," the voice was small, reedy, coming from beneath the fallen Zythian. David's heart rate spiked. He moved closer carefully. A child emerged, a Zythian juvenile no more than a meter tall, her smaller frame still showing the softer, more flexible plating of youth. Her large compound eyes, adapted for low-light conditions, reflected his suit's headlamp like 1,000 tiny mirrors. She clutched something against her thorax, a data pad, David realized, its screen cracked but still glowing. "Are you here to hurt my mother too?" The child spoke in heavily accented but clear galactic standard, her mandibles clicking with each syllable. "She's dying." David held up both hands, making himself as non-threatening as possible. "No, I'm here to help. I'm a rescue pilot. My name is David." "Liar," the word came out sharp, bitter. "The others said they would help too. They hurt her instead." "What others?" The child, Elsa, David would later learn was her designation in Standard, gestured toward the corridor with one of her 4 manipulator limbs. "The Raiders. They came 2 cycles ago. They wanted the quantum core. Father tried to stop them. They—" Her voice broke, and she made a keening sound that David's translator couldn't parse, though he understood grief in any language. David's scanner beeped urgently. The adult Zythian's life signs were deteriorating rapidly. He moved closer, kneeling beside the massive form. Up close, he could see the extent of her injuries, plasma burns across her thorax, several limbs severed and crudely cauterized. She'd fought hard. "My medical training is limited," David admitted, already pulling out his emergency med kit. "Your species' physiology is different from mine, but I'll try." "Why?" Elsa remained where she was, defensive, distrustful. Humans don't help Zythians. The war. The war ended 20 years ago, David interrupted gently. Before you were born, before I was born. He was 23, barely qualified for deep space rescue operations, certainly not prepared for this. He applied biofoam to the worst of the mother's wounds, watching as the smart material attempted to interface with Zythian biochemistry. It wasn't perfect. The foam turned an odd purple color instead of the standard blue, but it seemed to be slowing the hemorrhaging. Mother taught me humans are dangerous, Elsa said quietly, moving slightly closer, that they destroy what they don't understand. Some do, David acknowledged, checking his scanner. The mother's vital signs had stabilized, but barely. But not all. Just like not all Zythians are dangerous, even though my grandmother died in the orbital bombardment of Luna Colony. Elsa's antennae twitched, surprise, if he remembered his xenopsychology courses correctly. You lost family too. Everyone lost someone. David stood, moving to the medical bay's control panel. Most of it was dead, but he managed to coax power into the primary diagnostic system. Data scrolled across the screen in Zythian script. His translator worked overtime. Critical organ damage. Hemolymph pressure dangerously low. Nervous system showing signs of cascade failure. Prognosis. Terminal without immediate intervention. The ship's med bay is too damaged, David said, thinking rapidly. But my shuttle has a medical pod. It's designed for human physiology, but the adaptive algorithms might be able to compensate. He looked at Elsa. I need to move your mother. Can you help me? Why are you doing this? Elsa's voice cracked. Your people and mine were supposed to be enemies. David met her compound gaze, seeing his own reflection multiplied 1,000 times in those alien eyes. Because right now on this ship, there's no your people or my people. There's just two people who need help and one person who can give it. He extended his hand. Please, let me try. For a long moment, Elsa didn't move. Then slowly, she placed one small manipulator limb in his gloved palm. Her name is Thesha, Elsa whispered. My mother's name is Thesha, and I'm Elsa, not just the alien girl. I'm Elsa. Okay, Elsa, David said gently. Let's save your mother. Together, human and Zythian, former enemies, now unlikely allies. They began the painstaking work of moving Thesha toward the airlock, toward hope, toward a future where maybe, just maybe, the sins of previous generations didn't have to define them forever. The binary stars continued their eternal dance outside the viewport, uncaring and beautiful, illuminating a moment of grace in the vast darkness of space.